Oh, hello everybody. Look, just think about this. In a few months, we definitely know what George St-Pierre's next fight's going to be. I mean, you think about this. Us guys on the internet, on YouTube, you know, we have our wild fantasies about fantasy fights we want to see. Fucking Fedor versus Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez versus the US military, and fucking Wolverine versus Undertaker. I don't know, we go crazy. But history will be made next year. History will be made, because I guarantee you, we will see for the first time ever, in cinematic form mind you, an MMA champion versus a superhero. And I can't wait for the day that I go to see Captain America the Winter Soldier, because I'm a huge comic book fan, as you can tell, and I'm flicking through and I'm preparing for my next video. I cannot wait to see this man here. This is going to be George St-Pierre. This is going to be GSP in Captain America. He's going to be Batouag Zilipar. I cannot wait to see that. And I'll tell you what, I had a funny little thought the other day that Greg Jackson gets a cameo in Captain America, and as Batouag Zilipar, I can't even say it right, Zilipar, as he's attacking Captain America, Greg Jackson in the corner. That's right, Pat Rock. That's right. Now we're working the champ, baby. Now we're working the champ. Oh, that was beautiful. Effing beautiful. Oh, that's how we steal the film, George St-Pierre. I mean, Pat Rock. Oh, God. If that happens, I mean, fuck that. That would be fuck any other Easter egg you can get in a Marvel superhero film. That would be tremendous. Anyways, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about this weekend. We've already done a predictions video. If you haven't checked that out, feel free, do that. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. I've got to keep the noise down a little bit because the little one's asleep and he's like a Tasmanian devil when he wakes up. So, cutting to the topic at hand, one thing that seems to be discussed a lot is what's going to happen with George St-Pierre after he fights Johnny Hendricks. And a lot of people are saying, what's this announcement he's got? Because it's alleged, or he's been saying that he's got something he wants to tell everybody at the end of the fight. And people are talking about it, and people have been talking for a while now that this kind of is the last fight he has really in the division. And if he's not going to go up and face Anderson Silva, and I don't think he would, he is kind of contemplating retirement. And it's alleged that people within his camp have spoken about it, and now it's been getting a lot of talk and a lot of discussion, and I think that it's a very likely thing. I wouldn't be surprised if St-Pierre retired very young, but he also looks like a person to me that would keep competing and keep training and keep competing and keep training. But you do get to a certain point though in that sport, I think, that once you've done everything that you need to do and accomplish, you do kind of know, alright, now it's time to call it a day. But this thing has been getting so much momentum, and people are talking about him possibly retiring and what's he going to do next. And I don't think he'll fight Anderson, because this is just my belief. When he fought Jake Shields, he was heavier than he had been, because he's been doing a lot of strength and conditioning, and a big part of his game is his speed and his reflexes, and they were compromised to an extent against Jake Shields. And I feel that he was not comfortable doing that, and if he goes up to Anderson, he feels that his speed and his reflexes are compromised, and it's not a fight he can win if that's going to happen. So that's why I don't believe he'd fight Anderson if he has to go up. I believe if Anderson went down, he was more likely to fight him at 175. But that's just my belief anyways. So now it just seems that there's two other options. Oh yeah, and then the other one, 155, which I don't think would happen, but Firas has said he could get him down there. Now, the other one that I keep hearing, and the other thing that we keep talking about, is St-Pierre fighting Rory Macdonald. And they have gone on record, said, we are not going to fight each other. George has said he's not going to fight him, but George has said Rory would be the champion at 170. Rory Macdonald wants to be the champion at 170. The problem is, St-Pierre holds the belt at 170. So what's going to happen? They keep saying they're not going to fight each other, and I know that this has been a very controversial topic in MMA about teammates or friends fighting friends, and I know that Cain Velasquez and Cormier don't want to do it, and Cormier has moved out of the division to not do it. We had this issue with John Jones and Rashad Evans. We had this issue with John Fitch and Josh Koscheck. We've had this issue with a lot of fighters throughout, you know, the the history. I mean, it could have even happened at featherweight with Uriah Faber. No, bantamweight with Faber and Benavidez. If Benavidez stayed at 135, they would have faced that problem. And I know a lot of people either move out of a division, they just move out of divisions to accommodate one another. So now it looks like we're going to have this scenario with St-Pierre and Rory. And the thing is, if Rory does win on Saturday, he really is going to be considered or have a strong case to be #1 contender. And people are going to demand to see that fight. And I know a lot of people would want to see that fight. Rory might not be the most electric personality in the world, mind you. I mean, if you've seen the guy do an interview, and I'll go in a quick Rory Macdonald impression, since you want it, hold on. I mean, I've seen Rory do interviews, so he's not going to sell you on his personality. I can just imagine the interviews kind of being like this. I'm really focused on my fight with my next opponent. And I'm just working on my techniques with my coach for us. Training like I train for any other fight. Training like I train for any other training day. Working on my techniques and my strategy. Me and George is not gonna fight. Please stop asking me that. I would like to be the champion at 170. I don't know. A lot of people talk about being the best. I'm just here to collect bodies and stack them up and pile them up. And, I'm very motivated and very excited for my fight. Those are the kind of interviews you will get from Rory if, when he takes over. St-Pierre has the charisma and he plays with the media a little bit more. Whereas Rory, I can't see him selling the fight on his personality. And I don't think he will be that kind of fighter. He'll be the fighter that sells the fight based on his fighting ability, which is really what you want in some ways. He's not a Chael Sonnen. And I can't imagine that in terms of media being the most exciting thing. However, if it turns into a very ugly split, then I could see it being very, very, even more promotable. To me, it reminds me a lot of St-Pierre back in 05-06 on the climb to fight Matt Hughes in that time. Although obviously they were not teammates, but it kind of reminds me positioning wise where you had this dominant champion at 170 and then this dynamic hot up and comer on the rise. And it's a very similar situation. And people, I think that they should do it, because I think if you've got this philosophy of the best fight the best every year, the best of the best fight each other, then yeah, Rory and George are the two best at their weight class, it looks like, if they both win their fights on Saturday. And that's a big if they both win their fights on Saturday, they should fight each other. And a lot of people are like, take the emotions and they're, oh no, it's my friend, it's competition. And I know a lot of people have said, look, in wrestling meets in America, we wrestle each other and we're friends, and we wrestle each other every weekend for scholarships and for, rankings and for tournaments. And I've competed against friends, so what's the problem? What's the difference? And a lot of people think that, what's the problem? But you also look at it as George mentors Rory. Rory has joined that camp, TriStar, back in 2010, I think, 2011. George has mentored him, and I think he doesn't want to create that tension in there. And they're saying they don't want to fight, but Dana White is the guy that runs the show, and he's saying, look, they're going to fight each other. I don't give a fuck what they have to say. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. Those two are going to fight each other. Rory wants to fight him. George wants to fight him. And it's going to happen. If those two win their fights, Rory will move out of TriStar. I fucking guarantee it. And they're going to fight each other. I'm telling you that right now. And the only way I can really see that happening is if they paid them a lot of fucking money. And I mean a lot of fucking money to do that fight. And as that great saying goes, money talks and bullshit does run the marathon. And it looks like George has got either face Rory or retire. That looks like the two options. So that will probably be the title of my video. Rory or retire. So, guys, what do you think is going to happen? Does GSP retire if he wins? Does he continue fighting if he wins? Does he take the Rory Macdonald option if Rory wins? Will those two eventually fight each other? Do you see one going out of one weight class and one going into another? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. How do you feel about George St-Pierre possibly retiring? All of what I've just said, let me know what you think. The wacky Rory Macdonald impression. Guys, take care. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Comment, rate, subscribe.